So you want a Pleco, or you have a Pleco, or a cleaner fish. Here's how to take care of them the best you can. Maybe you've already gotten into it and you didn't know what you're getting into. Maybe you're thinking about getting into this and you want to know what you're getting into. Know that they're a catfish. Know that they're a scavenger for the most part. Know that they have some requirements and that they're not just a cleaner fish. Think of them like bringing a dog to your home. Now, will a dog eat the piece of pizza you drop on the floor? Definitely. But we still have to feed our dog every day. Even though he's eating that piece of pizza, he's also needing to be fed. So when you get a common Plecostomus, and it's called a common Plecostomus because it's the most commonly sold one. They have a cool pattern. They get big. You know, when I say big, I'm doing this move, but really I mean to be doing this move, but my camera doesn't go that wide. They get over 3 feet eventually, although rarely will they ever make it to that. So the common Plecostomus grows very large and has a huge appetite. Then we have other things like a rubber lip Plecostomus. We have bristlenose Plecostomus. They get much more manageable. Like, oh, look at that guy. He's only about 4 inches and he looks sweet. So how do we got to keep these things alive? One, we got to heat them. We got to keep them roughly at 78 degrees. Two, we got to make sure their water parameters don't get too crazy out of control. What does that mean? It means pH isn't way too low. pH isn't way too high. Let's say 6.8 to 7.8. We're just going to put a range there. You can go outside of that, but it adds stress. So we're going to try to stay inside of there. And then we have to have an aquarium appropriately sized. In my opinion, for all the fish I've mentioned so far, at least 20 gallons. When it comes to a common Plecostomus, really you want to start with at least a 75, if not, a 180 to a 500 gallon tank. Like the common Plecostomus gets huge. And if you're being a responsible pet owner, I would say this. It's unlikely you'll be able to find a good home for it. So it might be like getting a Mastiff dog and keeping it till it starts getting arthritis and then being like, I'm just going to give it away now. Like no one wants the huge medical bills on this giant drooling dog. And kind of the same thing when it comes to this Plecostomus, the common. Oh, he's kind of big. He's pooping a lot. I've already got one, so I don't really need another giant one. The store doesn't want it back because it's unsellable. And so if you're going to be in that same situation, go, wait a minute. But I could just get a dog that's going to stay the right size? Well, why don't I get one of those? Exactly. Get yourself like a bristlenose, a clown pleco, a rubber lip. There's a bunch of Plecostomus that stay under 6 inches. Yeah, they might cost a little more. You're going, well, the common one's only $2.99. Yeah, because it's common. The bristlenose, $8.99. Yes, but you get to keep that forever. Imagine if every 3 years you got to buy a new Plecostomus that's $3. And you don't have a home for that other one, it's going to cost you more in the long run. They're a very, very long-lived fish. It's not unheard of for them to live at least 30 years. So you're getting into bed with a fish that's going to stay with you for a very long time if you do your job right and you keep it clean. I recommend keeping nitrates at 20 or lower at all times. And, they're not a difficult fish to keep alive, but it's a difficult fish to keep very healthy. And so when it comes to feeding, people throw in algae wafers. Yes, but a lot of them want something better. Like you should be feeding them frozen bloodworms, Repashy food. They'll eat flake food. They'll eat pellets on the bottom. You got to think they're not just a cleaner. They're a fish. So if you feed your cat, canned food, your dog wants canned food, right? It doesn't just go eat something out of the yard. So same thing with these Plecostomus. We need to feed them well. They're nocturnal. They want to eat after the lights out are out. So, if you're just the problem I always run into, people will say, I don't know, he died. Every night after the light went out, I put in one algae wafer. I don't get why he didn't make it. Think about that. If you only ever fed like a small handful of food to your dog and he's a puppy, what happens when he's full grown? He's still only getting a handful of food. He's getting underweight. So you gotta really be watching these and tune the diet and vary the diet. And you always want their belly to kind of just be like a little bit rotund, but you don't want it sunken in. Definitely not sunken in. You don't want it way too far out. Usually that's a sign that either A, we're feeding way too much, or B, we're letting waste build up in that aquarium and then it can't go to the bathroom. If you see lots of stringy long poop, a lot of times that could be, we're building up in nitrates and we need to do some gravel vacuuming and some water changing. So my advice is get the Pleco that works well for the size of tanks you're going to keep long term And if you really want a common pleco, reach out to any group, Facebook, doesn't matter, and go, hey, I'm looking for a common pleco. Is anyone looking to rehome one because it's getting way too big? Well, I got the tank for it. You can help them. You'll give the fish a better life, and we won't bring another one into the problem that we already have. So good luck. They're great fish, and just research their diet requirements. Most of them eat lots of meat. There are going to be some oddballs that need a lot of wood and other things. So, but for the ones we've talked about today, commercially prepared foods are going to do very well for you. Give them a hide, get them out of the light, and keep an eye on them and buy the right one.